When caffeine reaches your brain, the most noticeable effect is alertness, but how does it affect your impulsivity? We investigate this question in our own study, but first let's talk about past research that has provided some insight into this question. In a study where they test impulsivity with caffeinated rats, they find that the caffeinated group was more impulsive. However, authors note that this difference was small, therefore making the effect small. They interpret this by stating that the results support other research in saying that in humans, caffeine does not increase impulsivity. Although the study looks at the variables that were interested, it does not account for the human effects nor response speed in the way that we do in our study.
Balkin and colleagues discovered that caffeine can reduce risk-taking behaviors in sleep-deprived people. In the study of 21 males and 4 females, participants were subject to 3 days of sleep deprivation and were administered either 200 milligrams of caffeine or a placebo for control. Results showed that risk-taking behaviors increased in participants who did not receive the caffeine, while those who did receive caffeine showed maintained levels of risk-taking throughout the entire study.
In this study, 100 students took the Eysenck personality test in which they were labeled low or high impulsivity. They then took placebo or 1 through 4 milligrams of caffeine citrate. They took a 48 multiple choice question test and a letter cancellation task. The results confirmed the Yerkes-Dodson law that there is an inverted U function of arousal. Performance of participants on the easier task improved with caffeine dosage, while performance on the difficult task improved and then dropped off over time. This supports the idea that an easier task will require a higher level of arousal for success. The go-no-go task is relatively easy and should therefore be supported by caffeination.
We hypothesized that caffeine intake has a positive correlation with impulsivity on the go-no-go task. In the following clip, you will see what participants experienced in our study. They first see the introduction page where they will consent to participate in the study. The next few pages ask about demographics such as age, gender, and education level. Then the last 2 questions ask about their caffeine intake, how many cups of caffeinated drinks they had that day, and then their intake on a typical day. After this, they begin the go/no-go task. The study ends with further readings related to the study. Participants volunteered for our study and received no financial compensation. They were recruited using social media sites such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Reddit. Our results showed a slight negative correlation between caffeine consumption on the day of the study and impulsiveness on the go/no-go task. However, the effect size was too small to be statistically significant. The above figures show these results. A limitation of this study was our sample size. Our sample size for this study was 12, when usually a more ideal number would be about 1,000 or more in order to reach an ideal effect size. In the future, the data collection portion would be longer so that more participants get the opportunity to take it. Another limitation was the equipment required. Most people accessed it from their phones, whereas a full keyboard was required to complete the whole study. This research provides insight into how caffeine consumption may influence our impulsivity in a day-to-day life. This information is important as it has shown that caffeine has no effect on impulsivity during a task.